I'm going to call on Amy Walsh from Hendrick Motorsports right now, who works with Jimmie Johnson, for a very, very special announcement before we start Jimmie's media availability. Here you go, Amy.
Thanks, everybody, and good morning. Just want to take a moment here for a special announcement we've got for the Jimmie Johnson Foundation, and want to introduce some special guests we have on stage. We have Mike Wells, who's the CEO of Wells Enterprises, the maker of Blue Bunny ice cream. And then we have Saza Kent with the Be Kind People Project, and Bo Whittington. So with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to Jimmie to talk a little bit about the Helmet of Hope program.
Yeah, thank you everybody for your time, and very happy to have Mike Wells and everybody from Be Kind here with us today. And thank you all for supporting the Jimmie Johnson Foundation and the causes that are very important to us, and you know how special the Blue Bunny Helmet of Hope has been. Once again, we're partnering with Wells Enterprises, the makers of Blue Bunny ice cream, and we're excited for this year's program. To date, we've contributed over $810,000 to 81 charities through this helmet program, and this is the 5th year that we've had the relationship with Mike and Blue Bunny ice cream.
Thanks, Jimmie. We at Wells love the opportunity to give back in a meaningful way and make sure that what we do every day benefits others. The Helmet of Hope really gives us that opportunity. Again, this year, nonprofit organizations that support K through 12 public education in the United States can nominate for a chance to receive a $25,000 grant. Blue Bunny Ice Cream Party, and have their logo featured on Jimmie's helmet. Here's an example of what that looks like and then that will be featured at the Watkins Glen race on August 7th. 10 semifinalists will be chosen. There's 5 grants available, actually, and the public will decide.
Yeah, with those 5 grants available, and the fun part is having the public decide who those 5 are. Then it's up to the semifinalists to mobilize their supporters and vote once again to make them the ultimate winner. Had a ton of success last year. Mike, do you remember some of the numbers from the impressions we had? I can't recall off the top of my head. It was massive.
Amy, do you remember? I mean, we were into
some of the impression numbers.
We were into the millions in regards to impressions.
Millions, so
it's the beauty of pushing this thing to social media and the voting process. It is a great opportunity for nonprofits to increase their awareness. I tell you what it means in our little community is, thousands of people voting every day for the charities of their choice. In regards to that, I think the fact that the Be Kind people are with us here this morning to share a little bit more of that and what it's meant to them, not only to have that exposure on the helmet and to have the $25,000, but what it's meant overall to the organization.
Yes, it's had a huge impact on us. We're very honored to have been a recipient of the Helmet of Hope grant. We're the Be Kind People Project. We're a character education and youth development organization. We use hip-hop, dance, spoken word, academics to teach kids about kindness, basically that it's cool to be kind. And we follow our Be Kind pledge, teaching kids about how to be encouraging, supportive, positive, helpful, honest, considerate, thankful, be respectful, and be a friend. Working towards the grant was a really awesome experience. It was really easy, actually. Bo was the one that found the grant, so she's the one that nominated us the first time. But when we found out that as an organization you could nominate multiple times, that's when we rallied our troops, and we got our supporters, our board members, different schools to go ahead and nominate us as well. So then we made it to the top 10, which was incredible, but that was only half the battle. That's when we really used social media as a platform to get votes. We got a little creative with it. We made a new video every week that we posted online. It always had a racing NASCAR theme to talk about our message and our project and what we wanted to do and to encourage people to vote. And that was shared nationwide. We had schools all over the country voting for us. So it was a really, really awesome experience, and it was cool to be able to check the progress every day online on the website to see how many votes we had and everything like that. So it was a great experience.
That's great. I give a lot of credit to Jimmie and Shani in changing this program up a couple of years ago. Nominations will be accepted on the JimmieJohnsonFoundation.org site starting today through Thursday, April 14th at 5 o'clock. The voting takes place, as was explained. This initial nominating process, so you can nominate any K through 12 organization, Once that gets closed, we will get that down to 10 organizations, and those 10 will compete on social media, and the top 5 vote getters will win a chance. Not only will win the $25,000 grant as well as an ice cream party, but it's an amazing thing because I look in our small community, what they do at the local high school is they send kids to the local computer lab all day long, and all they do is vote and vote and vote and vote. It's not a one-time vote. You can vote as many times as you want, and so it's been a tremendous experience. And the voting will run from April 29th to May 6th, and then we will announce our 5 winners at that time, and the helmet will actually be worn at Watkins Glen, if I remember right.
Yep.
And before we open up to questions about the Blue Bunny Helmet of Hope, Bo, do you just want to touch on like the impact of what the grants actually do for the kids?
Yes. I remember that day that I received that call that we were in the top 10, and that excitement of knowing that we were about to have an opportunity to impact thousands of teachers and students in Arizona and across the country. So when we won, we actually were very strategic in how we were going to spend the money that had been entrusted to us. So I want to give you a few numbers here. We took $25,000 and we spent every penny. We count at the Be Kind People Project as we count a contact as every time we actually have contact with a student or teacher, meaning that we either have physical contact, meaning hello, how are you, be kind, or that we give them collateral from the Be Kind People Project. So we actually connected with 21,878 students because of this grant. 1,005 teachers through Be Kind assemblies, 45,608 student contacts through our classroom kindness kits, and 14,364 teachers through our classroom kindness kits. And what brings this to a culmination and made it so fun for the kids who had worked so hard to vote for us in those computer labs is we were able to give them ice cream parties as a courtesy of Blue Bunny ice cream, my favorite ice cream. And just the kids were able to be rewarded for they saw an opportunity to help make a difference and to impact other students across the country, students that they would never meet, but that they could get the Be Kind message out. So we all had fun with our ice cream. And I told them, look, kids, what more could you want? NASCAR and ice cream. It doesn't get any better than that.
Thank you, Bo. So if anyone has any questions relevant to the Blue Bunny Helmet of Hope, we'll take that, and then we'll turn it over to Carrie for Jimmie racing questions. Stan.
Ladies, Stan Creekmore from RPMTonight.com. You win an event like this, and it does a great thing for your organization. But what did you learn from it that will last forever, that you can work with every single year?
Do you want to speak to that, or maybe together? Well, I learned that the community can get behind an organization, but not only a nonprofit organization, but they can get behind something that is going to impact the community. The community here in Phoenix got behind us, the local television stations got involved, and kids learned that even with their small voice, even a kindergarten kid can have a voice that's going to make an impact across the country. And I think if they can learn that at that early age, they are going to become the leaders of our country. And what a lesson to learn when you're 5 years old, that as small and young as I am, I can make a difference just by my vote and getting behind something that I really believe in.
You nailed it. Okay. You nailed it.
Anything else? Any racing questions?
Go ahead, Mike. We'll take a question. And again, I just want to interject. Can't thank Jimmie and Shanny enough for the Jimmie Johnson Foundation, the folks at Blue Bunny, and everybody. It's a great, great initiative that we have in our sport, and we appreciate it very much, and certainly appreciate what you do, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Jimmie, still kind of early with the new package, but what do you know now that you didn't know going into the start of the season about all this?
From inside the car, I feel like I can get closer to cars around me and not have my car kind of bug out in traffic, and I feel like this is going to create more passing opportunities. I think some tracks might show that a little bit easier than others, but I feel like riding in traffic, the car is a lot more in control deep in the pack, and I can get closer to cars in front of me, and from the rules package standpoint, that's what we're trying to create, and I think we're on the right track.
Stay right next door. Go ahead. Let's get him a mic. Where's the mic runners at? Right there. And then we'll go to Jim. Go ahead.
Hey, Jimmy. RJ Kraft, NASCAR.com. Next week, you're running the Superman paint scheme while Dale's running the Batman. How'd you guys determine who was going to do which one? And were you a Batman guy growing up or a Superman guy growing up?
Yeah, I didn't have a say, but I was very happy to end up with Superman. I think Mark Martin called me that years ago, and some had used that reference and nickname from time to time. So I feel like it was much more fitting than Batman. And Superman's going to kick Batman's butt, bottom line.
Let's go front row, Jim.
Jim Utter, Motorsport.com. Jimmy, you had talked back in January when you were at the Vegas test about the speeds that you guys found and wondered whether it would be different. Was there much change based on the tire selection that you saw last week? And do you think that some steps need to be taken more than what was done based on what you guys saw last week?
Yeah, I really feel it's a learning process, and in the conversations that myself, the Drivers' Council, and drivers in general have had with NASCAR and Goodyear, we all understand that every surface creates a different challenge. And at the test session, I commended Goodyear for coming in with the softest tire, the highest wear tire that they've kind of built in the last period of time. It worked fantastic at Kansas, and I still think it worked well at Las Vegas. Just as a reference point, I think we're maybe at least a second, if not closer to a second and a half slower in the race weekend than we were in the test. So temperature has a big impact on the top speed of the cars and the tire fall off, which I guess we all kind of knew, but it was one of those moments for me that I had to remind myself of. So we're not, it's a moving target. This tire and downforce package is new. I think that as we get into the summer months, this package is really going to shine, and the soft tire is really going to create the racing that we want. And at the same time, Goodyear, NASCAR, Driver Council, everybody involved is continuing to make it better and better. And all the drivers that I spoke to following the Vegas race, sure, the speeds were a little high. They weren't as high as the test, which is a great step in the right direction. But everybody loved driving the race cars. I mean, there was a lot of positive feedback from the competitors.
Final question back in the corner. Go ahead.
Yes, Mark Armillo, the Arizona Republic. Jimmy, there was a stretch here when it seemed nobody could beat you a few years ago at this place. I wonder how hard is it to beat Kevin Harvick right now at this place?
It's tough. There's no way around it. I was probably one of the few that was screaming and yelling, "Don't change this place, don't repave it, don't reconfigure it." I feel like we've had some good showings here, but coming to this track, I've definitely put that 4-car. It is my number one pick. I think we're closing the gap some. The Penske cars usually shine here, so I expect those two to be pretty good. And then I just heard the tail end of Kevin's conversation, and you start thinking it through, and you look at Kyle and his success here, which then opens up the JGR cars. It's hard to pick a favorite, but I guess if I'm forced to, the 4-car is the one that we'll all be paying close attention to.
Final question, back row. Go ahead.
Jimmy, I'm not sure if you have any on your pit crew, but certainly a growing trend in NASCAR.
Come on, 48.
But a growing trend is hiring Division I athletes, Division I football players on your pit crew. Do you have any, and why do you think that is such a growing trend in NASCAR?
Yeah, I mean, to find the speed, agility, strength in individuals isn't the hardest thing to do. I mean, there's lots of fit people around the country. The hard part is when you take